Understanding has improved. Something new we can build. If you say so. Right, let's get this one up. It all starts with a spade.
Feeding the world. Upgrade that building. More is more. This building's complete. Gotta put food on the table. Let's plant potatoes.
for an upgrade. Our knowledge and hence ability is increased.
Upgrade complete! That building can be upgraded! Collecting more eggs.
We can upgrade that now.
Farmer's work is never done.
Let's get upgrading. Our research has concluded.
Look what we can build now!
New insights have been gained.
Excellent choice! Upgrade available! All the bells and whistles now!
Oh, that'll be nice when it's finished.
There's always room for improvement!
Tasting.
On the move. some trees.
Look at my axe. It is amazing.
We'll start in a moment. Thank you, Indie Flock. Okay, let's get going. As it says there, time is precious.
There's a new building available.
Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining the stream. If you've seen the previous one, you'll notice some changes. We've got some friends in space, just to show you that space isn't totally empty. We won't be interacting with them as yet, but they will come into the game much later after some serious development. Okay, so we are on a standard size map. This is the size. There's enough space for more than an hour's play, so I don't think we'll get to half the map, the full half of the map. So there's enough. We should be fine with space to build our buildings on. Our starting position isn't bad. We've got enough wood. We've got some stone to start off with, some open space for farms. So I don't think we'll have any trouble expanding our borders. Let's start with a wanderer and just see what is around us.
That's just where I would have put it.
I'm gonna put it on double speed. Of course, at the start of the game you may want to go faster, but as your realm grows you will probably want to turn back the speed dial. Let's also order a woodcutter's cabin. That looks like the perfect place for it, nestled right there in between the
Let's
trees.
get building.
And the stonemason. So our resources can start getting into production. We're starting with quite a lot of wood and stone, so we won't have any trouble building stuff. In the game, in the real game, you will probably start with a lot less than this, so you'll have to think about what you want to build first, the order in which you want to build it, and how soon you need to get your resource production up, as opposed to your scouting and your builders and so on. Okay, the tooltip for the terrain will be expanded on. You can see it gives you some useful stuff. The elevation is there. The elevation comes into the game in the background quite a bit. it plays a role in where your buildings can be built. The elevation differences needs to be not too much. Let me just take the sound effects down a bit. Okay, so you'll notice that if you want to place buildings, as soon as the elevation differences are too drastic that your building can't actually be constructed there. I'm not going to go into all of the detail now, but basically your buildings can raise or lower the terrain a bit to make sure that your floor plan of your building can fit onto that piece of land. And the buildings, the part of the buildings, they don't all have to be on the same level. So giving you some leeway in terms of where you can place your buildings. You don't need just a totally flat piece of land for it. Okay, so they have started scouting. They have actually seen the first tribal camp. They are unfriendly meeps. At the start of the game, they will basically be responsible for your first problems, your first challenges that you need to overcome. They will pilfer your supplies, your food and resources, and you will need to keep an eye on them. We'll see how we do that in a while. And then eventually, if you can manage to turn the tide of their hostility towards you into something more positive, they will join you at a faster rate, so you'll be able to grow your population much faster if you play nice with them. I'm going to scout a bit into that direction. So you can set the areas of your tasks. The Wanderer has the first task of exploring, and so do all of your other buildings. Stonemason harvests rock for you, or stone, and of course the woodcutter brings you in some wood. Okay, there's a nice area to expand here, so I'm going to build our first builder's yard in this corner. The builder's yard expands your territory.
Excellent choice.
And they do the work of constructing the buildings, and also later upgrading the buildings and also building the roads. You've actually got a nice road system going here because all your buildings, there's a road on the floor plan itself, and those roads get constructed automatically. And because these buildings fit so nicely together, those roads actually make a complete road. But you'll see the one here is not connected. We'll only connect that later on when the builders have gained enough experience to take on roads over a longer, or over the terrain between buildings. Okay, so our resource gatherers are getting going. We can actually keep an eye on them. Well, that's not a good angle, but you'll see now what I mean. So you can follow any of the units with the fly cam and see what it does, who it meets, where it goes in your realm. Let's try a stonemason maybe.
There's a new building we can build. I like to build it.
Okay, any of the units you can follow in this way. So our builder's yard is complete. We now have a lot more area in which we can build our buildings, so we'll use this for farms quite extensively. Let's change our scouting to now have a look at this side. So later the Wanderers are also going to have to spend more time on certain key points on the map. They won't just be walking around and exploring quite fast. As you can see, we've already explored quite a bit, but they're going to have to spend some time at certain points to find out interesting stuff about the map and things happening on the map. So let's construct our first farm. Here's a nice open area for it. On the farm you'll see it quite nicely. All the yellow X's will need to have some groundwork done. So there's 6 yellow hexes there, which means it will take longer to build as the builders will first need to flatten the ground and so on. So if you can find a nice open spot where only a few X's are yellow, then your farm will build faster. Okay, so all our builders are currently working hard on the farm. That will be done in no time. You can see here we've got capacity. Each meep requires 4 capacity. A place to stay, something to eat, appeal, they need to want to live in your realm, and then order to keep everything running smoothly. And your houses, of course, provide the dwellings, your farms, the supply. There will be other ways of getting supply as well, fishmongers and so on. And then as your effectiveness or your efficiency of your farms are improved, you'll also get more supply there. Then you've got appeal, which is run through leisure hubs, so you'll get places where you can rest, do some activities like art, play with the kids and so on, and that will give you more appeal for your run. And then order is run through the research hubs. There will also be other factors that increase your order, but for now we've got the research hub that also has the task of actually letting your research progress, which we'll look at in a bit. Okay, so you'll see a little green frame around the icons here, and that is to tell you that there's something that needs your attention. In this case, it's building a road. So we can now, since our builders have got enough experience to construct roads, we can now start adding roads between buildings. If we build this one, the builder's one, it goes through the farm because it uses roads that already exist or roads that are actually planned, that has not been built but has been ordered. So if we build this one, the farm is actually already connected as well, so its icon disappears. It realizes that it's already connected. I'm also going to connect this. In the demo, the roads don't do anything, but they will improve efficiency and have an impact realm-wide on many of the factors in the game. Okay, so I'm gonna order another woodcutter around here. You can hold control to force a certain rotation on the building. There's a recursive method that calculates the best rotation to lead to the least amount of road building and terrain adjustments. But if you want your road in a certain way or your building in a certain rotation, you can just hold control to force the rotation that you want. Okay, so let's get our first research hub online. They are area of effect buildings, so you need to place them so that your other buildings has access to them. Let's order both of them. That will cover all the buildings.
You never have too many of those.
Okay, so how your research works, let's just look at an overview of the buildings that we have available. Your wanderers, they walk around the terrain. This is their first task, and you can see here on the edge, on the frame of this icon is an experience meter. As soon as that runs full, your wanderers will unlock their second task. This has already happened for your stonemasons, so they can now clear shard heaps. Now shards are just the small, hard, sharp pieces of rock that your meeps use for their first basic tools. So if you find any of these, it goes into your stockpile, and then you can order order new specialized meeps that uses those tools. For the woodcutters, you can harvest trees, and the second task is to replenish these trees by planting them. Of course, this decreases your production tempo, your immediate production tempo, but it gives you long-term sustainability. Okay, our research hub is actually completed, and now these research icons has appeared here. The first one we have here is scaffolding. I haven't populated all of these. This is to show you how the system will work. It automatically picks the correct research items that are currently available for you from the specified list. Each building has got 3 slots that have got building specific research, so you could select which one of the 3 are most important at the moment, and they lead to trees for this building. This building will have its own tree, and all the other buildings will have their own trees. And then there's a realm-wide tree. So if you are not particularly interested in something for the moment for the builders, you can put your efforts into the realm-wide tree. So there will be a different research tree that impacts your entire realm that isn't building specific, and you can also put your research into that. So everybody chips in with building specific research and then realm-wide research. These will populate a bit later. Some of it will be populated as you research some of these. Okay, so every research item can have buildings and or previous research items that they require, and they can unlock buildings and future research items. Okay, so we are going for a lookout tower at the moment. That's what we need to keep an eye on, those pesky meeps around the sides of or the borders of our empire. It's actually now in the borders of our empire. And also just let these guys walk around there for a bit to tell us what's there on the north and the northwestern side of our realm. I'm going to complete the roads as well. I've got this here. I've actually use it to test. So this gives you just the task queues: preparing ground, building, how many roads, how many joiners do you is on their way, and how many other tasks there are. Now the joiners comes from these tribal camps for now, and they join you one by one as soon as you've got an extra capacity. And let's actually order another farm just to be sure that we don't run into problems there. So I'm going to put it all the way on this side.
Let's get to it.
Okay, so now we'll have 10 extra food as soon as the farm completes, and that is at the moment our bottleneck, except of course for the dwellings, but that we get as we build the buildings. Okay, so we're not researching yet. We have to set our buildings, our meeps, to do the research. So now we're splitting our time up into these 4 tasks. The bottom 2 are the same for all the buildings, so your research and your leisure. And as you spend time on that, you'll see how your research progresses. The farms will eventually have a lower limit on the tending farm priority. For now, I'm just increasing these so that we can get to upgrades a bit faster. But there will be a lot more mechanics around tending farm and also preparing provisions to send meeps on longer missions on the map. This is just locked for the demo. Okay, so this one is also almost done, and we need to get some more builders yards to expand our territory. Let's go in this direction.
Plans approved.
And I'm not sure how much open area is here. Let's let our scouts first tell us what's going on there. Okay, so they're walking around here. We'll soon know what's going on around there. You'll also see these icons on the map. They're basically to tell you that this building is not currently has any allocation into these tasks. So it will be a problem because you won't gain experience in those tasks, which means you will never be able to upgrade that building. So as you set the experience, those icons disappear. Same for the farm. I'm just going to do that to get the icon away. But generally you'll want to have some experience or some allocation into all of the tasks to make sure that that building gains experience in everything. So let's do something here as well. You've got a 10% jump and you've got a 1% jump by holding in control as well. Okay, so here's another tribal camp, and let's see if we're done here. We've got one of the 4 research required. You can also see the frame running full there. It's a bit difficult, orange and orange, but it will get greener as it completes. Okay, I think it's worth it. We can see if we can fit in oh, it fits in nicely there. Builder's yard, and our road will also be able to go forth into that open area if we place it like this.
If you say so.
Okay. I'm not gonna complete this road yet. I first want to populate this part of the map with buildings. Your buildings can actually use the existing road, so if you want to construct something on this road here, if the road of the floor plan fits in with the road of the that's already there, you can actually place the building on the existing road, but it does limit you a little bit if you finish the road first and then the buildings. Okay, so this builder's yard, you just make sure that we have some construct roads in there, but at the moment we don't have really a lot for the builders to do, so I'm going to place a few more buildings quickly to just make sure that our builders stay occupied. Let's make this our hub for wood cutting, and we can probably try fitting something in here for the for the stone.
Quickly or properly?
Quickly and properly. Okay, so we'll then basically also start needing research hubs and leisure hubs on this side, but let's maybe first expand a bit more so we have a bit more area that we can cover. And on this side,
alright, let's get to it. If you say so.
okay, so our builders will now have quite a lot to do. They need to get going, and you can actually select where you want to focus on. So if I click there, if they do a build task, they'll look for something there first. They generally, when you start off, the builders do anything in your realm, but when you have them housed in their buildings, they will prefer jobs that are close to their buildings and then close to the spot that you indicate for them. Okay, so these two guys will go there as soon as they, let's force them to build. Let's see whether they both head that way now. Okay, there goes the first, there goes the second. So they will now complete the buildings that they start with before picking their next task. So as soon as they start with the building, they complete it before they're allowed to carry on with the next task. Okay, there's some more joiners coming, so we've got a lot of capacity, and these guys are aware of it and they want to join a successful realm that can give them what they need in terms of these 4 factors. Okay, I'm going to keep expanding a bit. I want to get to the sides, so I'm just going to
Right, let's get this one up.
do this, and yeah, as soon as all these buildings complete, we should have quite a few meeps joining us again, 12 or 8 more, and then we can have another round of expansion. Okay, yeah. So you can tell the builders where to focus on. We're actually, our first building is ready to be upgraded. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, we were still waiting for the scaffolding, but that's almost there. let's do the upgrading first, and then we'll look at the lookout tower. So this farm has now got 100% experience in all 4 of the tasks. There's some help on the tooltips there, and we can now upgrade it to a crafter. So all your buildings start on the apprentice level, and as you upgrade them to crafters, that will improve their efficiency and give you some other bonuses which are not yet implemented, but a lot of the system is already in place to be populated. Before you can actually upgrade, you'll also have another building, or let's say 2 buildings that will appear here. One would be the alchemist, which will handle kind of like a mix between a researcher or a chemist and a metal worker, or your blacksmith, and it will be responsible for all your metal needs. And then you'll have a tinkerer, which is the guy who stays up all night figuring out how stuff works and why it works and how he can change it a little bit to work for you. And this guy will be responsible for making new tools and new contraptions that you can use to expand with. And if you've got that, you can then upgrade your buildings to higher experience level, higher levels. So this one has got all the experience, and if you've got all the tools, you can upgrade it. The builders will then improve the buildings a bit, so you'll be able to visually tell that your upgrade has been effected. I'm going to increase that a bit to get somewhere, so we can just upgrade a few buildings in the hour. We're going to try to get one of the farms into an artisan level. You'll see here all of the buildings, you can actually find them by scrolling through them here, and as you upgrade them, they will move through the ranks to the other icons. And when you've got a large realm, it will probably help you a lot to scroll through your buildings with this and just check up on them whether everything is still fine. So I'm going to reduce that and increase that to get them. Okay, so our scaffolding is completed. We can construct a lookout tower. So let's construct a few of them. You can't build too close to that camp.
Let's get building.
Let's do something like this. This side we're actually not too scared of them. And let's do something there. I'm gonna get another scout on this side to explore for us. Scouts can only, or wanderers, can only scout a certain range around their building. It's quite far, but it is limited. Let's get these guys to gain some experience and stop scouting. Okay, so let's see if we need anything. Fit in another farm? Yes. Okay, so if we fit in the farm there, I think we can complete the roads and get everything connected. Okay, so these 2 guys have actually done a good job here. Everything is fine. Let's get them connected as well. And then let's have a look at where we need some more research hubs. Okay, so we're going to expand this way, and we now have a lot of space here. So let's do something like this. Plus leisure for everybody. So all of these ranges are not fine-tuned yet. The systems are all in place to just change the value, and everything runs through the complete game. So it's all looked up from certain parameter tables settings. But I haven't spent a lot of time thinking exactly should this be one more, one less, the ranges and so on. But as I say, it's already in place. I just need to finalize it. And that basically comes from playing a lot and seeing whether there's anything that bothers or makes it difficult to perform certain things where you get stuck if a range is too small or too large.
Build is the name. Building's
So I'll
the
get to
name.
that as well. Okay, so we are researching bridge building now. So in a while we'll be able to build bridges. I don't think we actually,
This building's complete.
the map that we got don't really have rivers around us. Sometimes you get a river running through a large part of your realm and you can't get to the other side, and in those cases bridge building will be a lot more urgent. For this game it's probably not really a big problem.
All finished building.
I'm going to expand in this way anyway,
Plans approved.
just to use the building, the rivers around here, on the bridges on those rivers. Okay, so I've got a, just for fun, let's put another one on there.
Pursuit of
See if we can
knowledge
build
is
a
unending.
larger.
However, this
Look what
particular
we can build
pursuit is
now.
now finished.
Okay, so these guys are done. They need to first scout. They can come do leisure and research later.
This building's complete.
And I'm going to order.
Scouting the perimeter.
Okay, as soon as the farm is done, I'll order another farm up there as well.
Building
Oh, I forgot to show you the upgrades. The next one I upgrade, I'll actually just stay on the graphic a bit. You'll see that the second windmill is also, second building is also now a windmill, and the building itself has got a second story on it. Okay, so the lookout tower is also done. You can connect that. I'm just gonna run through my builders to make sure that they've got enough weight on road building, otherwise the roads don't get constructed, as you can see there.
gather some crops.
Okay, so you should see that backlog start to disappear there. We've ordered quite a lot of roads now at once. Of course, if you've got limited resources and you don't build a bunch of buildings at once, then it will be more not as it will be more spread out between
Something can be upgraded.
when you want roads constructed. Okay, but they're already disappearing.
We have acquired new knowledge.
Okay, some more research done. There's a building here that we can upgrade, so let's go for it.
The upgrade.
And I'll just keep an eye on it for when a builder heads that way. And this one, we actually need to. We'll be able to
This building's complete.
upgrade it quite soon, actually. So. Okay, I'm going to stop with the roads for now, just so that they can work through the backlog. And generally, let's just do another farm up here. Make sure we don't get stuck with not enough
If you say so.
food. Okay, so let's have a quick look at these icons. So you've got meeps that you can send out, kind of like settlers, that you can send them on to longer missions to do stuff that are further away for you. Then there's our total number of meeps. 34 of them are apprentices, 2 are crafters, and there are no artisans at the moment. Then we've already looked at the supply, and down here we've basically got almost like a score factors. Every building has 2 points allocated to each to one of these, or to 2 of these, 1 point each. This will become more important later on. We are at the foundation phase now, where you're getting your resources in place and starting off with your research. But eventually you'll have higher tier buildings that where this becomes more important. Okay, so I've actually missed it. Never mind, the farm is almost there. Okay, and then we'll just stay on it while I blabber on. This I've already shown you, where you can just keep an eye on your buildings and your upgrade levels. And then of course these locked ones are just for future buildings. Some of them is already planned and got some of the details worked out. Some will be just will have to be sorted as I develop. Okay, so let's do our artisan upgrade, and these builders that we're here should be pretty close. So they should start arriving at the worksite not too long from now. Okay, is there anything here? You can see now that this research appeared as soon as you finished the one that it required, and you can now tell your woodcutters to focus on their specific research instead of the realm-wide research. Okay, our roads are being constructed. That was at 90, it's now at 65, and I think there's the first builder. Oh no, that's a farmer actually. Okay, so let's just get them there. This one can actually also reach that. Okay, they're building now. So they're breaking this one down and making it even higher. They're now waiting for another builder to get here. So all of these buildings will have levels in their models, and that will become mostly higher. Expanding on the floor plan is not that easy because you'll be blocking walk paths and so on, but for example the farm and most of the others has got some extra space in the floor plan, which is there for a reason, and that is to show future upgrades and progress on these X's that we have there. So this is now getting improved. So now you have quite a large windmill and the small one and the house with 2 stories. And there we have our first 2 artisans. Let's just orientate ourselves. Okay, so the next thing I want to go for is the catapults.
That building can be upgraded. Can never have too many of those.
Let me just okay, so we'll see if we can get one there, and we'll have to wait for some shards. Oh, okay, so our shards is run dry, and the main reason for that is that we have very few stonemasons cabins, and they are not necessarily set to gather shards. So let's just put them all on shards, and let's order another one.
Got a license for that. Gotta put food on the table.
Okay, so we are in the first step of the game, which is just setting up a base, gathering resources, and getting to a point where we can apply that. And what I have in mind is for the turtle, first the map itself, then the turtle, and then the space around the turtle to actually play a big game, a big part in the game. It's not just playing on a turtle as a gimmick. It's actually one of some of your main aims would be centered around the turtle, the map and space itself. One of them will be that your turtle will need to be fed when going through patches of space where it doesn't get enough food. So space will work quite different from our space. You won't, for example, have localized rain in your atmosphere, you'll have to steer your turtle towards rain at some points and away from dangers, maybe dry areas or warm areas. And what I'll be showing you next is the catapult, which is the way that we'll do that. So let me just, we've got enough shards, so let's order another builder there, so we can try and put the catapult around there and the other one around there. Builders are progressing nicely. Let's see if we can get some more upgrades going. So, it's actually just outside. There's one. I could build one there. So it's just basically a way to cross over the river with a bridge, and you can connect a road to it and a road going further from it. And while it's not there, you'll not be able to build something on this side. And if it's there, the pathfinding actually can go through it, and you have access to places that used to be locked out by the rivers. Okay, so there will be other AI, groups of AI, let's call them players on the map as well. It's not just these tribal camps that are kind of stable at the moment. There will be AI players that actually construct villages for themselves. I've already got a lot of that functionality working. Let's upgrade that. So my search algorithm can already search for places where buildings make sense, and so an AI player can actually play on the map. I've got a shortcut key that you can try. If you play the demo, you press J, and you will actually get the AI to play the map. You can't stop it at the moment, so just be prepared to quit or save before you do it. But you can check that out if you want, if you're interested. It's not developed to its fullest yet, but it does place buildings reasonably well already. Okay, so this part is finished, and I'll be able to put a catapult right out there. I'm gonna force these guys to complete it. There's another one, so I'm just gonna, they're building there, but as soon as they're done, they'll get to this side. These guys are upgrading, so you can see how they take off the one side of the roof and put on another story. So it's warning us that farms, food supply is our next bottleneck, and we should do something about it.
Our knowledge and hence ability.
We have completed the research item here, and we can now go on to the next one. So it automatically picks one for you, but you can then change it.
That's proper finish now.
Okay, so that's upgraded. I'll also still work on shortcuts. I know how important that is. I just don't have it in yet. It's also a lot easier to do it when you are more certain of what exactly you'll have in the complete game, and how to structure your shortcut keys. So we need some wood now. So I'm just gonna go through my woodcutters. Should have built a few more.
Oh, that'll be nice when it's finished.
Let's just force him to get some wood. I need to build another catapult. Okay, so main aims of the game is what I was talking about a little bit earlier, and the AI players on the map surrounding you will also be building their realms, and you will be able to interact with them in terms of trade, luxuries, appeal, get some of their meeps to join you so that you can grow faster. But you'll also have to make decisions together that influence the map, the turtle, where you go in space, and so on. So there will have to be almost like a friendly competition, but also a cooperation between the different players on the map, you and the AI players, to get where you need to go to firstly save your turtle and to secondly get it to go some places that benefit your progress. And yeah, I mean, the game is still in early development. I've tried to polish what I have to such an extent that you can see that it's not just stapled together. The bits that I do have, I've tried to incorporate quite neatly into each other, and where I still have gaps, it's just locked at the moment, or you just can't go along that path further. But I mean, these buildings will have tasks or actions connected to these icons, and a lot of the systems are already in place and just needs to be populated with the different options, the different mechanics that you run for the different buildings. Oh, look at this one. They're actually building a huge long road all along this side, because I'm thinking, yeah, these buildings, the road can only go down or up 2 elevation level difference, and this is 2 and that is 5, so it can't go through here. And these buildings have been placed such that there would have been a connection there, but it's too high. So when placing buildings in choke points like this, it's actually important to just make sure that you will be able to let your road go through it. So because they can't find a road going through here with this floor plan road and this one and these elevation levels, they actually found the road all the way along there, and they're going to complete that road for you. And that will be some of the things that you need to keep an eye on while you're building. You don't necessarily place every road yourself. I'm still work on that to see. Hey, the catapult's done. I'll show you the building on the next one. But here you can get an idea of, let's just slow it down. You can see how you can then actually interact with space. You can fling food into space and gravity will pull it back to the center of mass of the turtle. So if you aim your catapult correctly, you can get the food to the turtle's head and it can eat it. And then the other thing that you'll use it for is deliberately shooting the food so that it goes to the left or the right of the head of the turtle. It will then notice it and it will turn that way to catch it, which is how I envision you steering your turtle in space to get him to certain points in space. So let's order the second. Let's just go. By the way, there are lots of graphical options that you can set here. Variability in the tops of the hexes, on-X variability, how jagged the edges can be, elevation differences, you can make them a lot higher or lower, and then time of day, which is where the sun sits. You can change your shadow directions and all kinds of things that if you're interested in that, you can change the look like it. There's even an orthographic mode if you like playing in this old school style, that you can try out. But let's just go back to this. Okay, so I think we should have enough wood now. No, we need 200 wood, but we'll be there soon. I'm going to increase the game speed a bit just to get us the wood we need. Okay, I'm going to just stop that catapult for now, but all of these actions will then be built into the UI of the catapult eventually. You'll be able to let it go forward and backward a little bit to turn it, so get your aim correct, depending on what you want to do. Feed the turtle or get slightly left or right of it, and also just collecting the food that you need to make into a ball to shoot into space. I'm actually looking for the piece of food. It uses physics, so it should eventually come all around and land somewhere on the terrain while I have not implemented it fully. So it's flying somewhere through space, and sometimes it actually lands on your terrain and starts rolling around there. Maybe this one will show it to us. Okay, so we've got enough wood now, so I'm just quickly gonna build this one. Get these boulders to all go there, and it should be done quite soon. And then we can have a look here. There's another upgrade that we can do.
Let's put an extra story on this one. We can upgrade that now.
Here's another one we can
More is
upgrade.
more.
It's actually this one. And just roads. We can see the road backlog, which I now realize was mainly this long road around here, has now been caught up. So
That building can be
our
upgraded.
builders did their
Nice
task.
when it's finished. Let's get upgrading.
So the catapult actually requires lots of tasks to flatten the ground. It's a big floor plan, and you need some parts of it to be flats to allow the catapult to actually move forward and backwards a bit in order to set its direction. I'm gonna stay in this area for a bit. Let's see if there's anything else I can talk about. Yes. Okay, so on the improvement side, we've talked a bit about the alchemist and the tinkerer, and then there's something for future that I can put in there. On the resource side, we've got these three, and there will be a fishmonger, and then again something that I still have to design. On the infrastructure, we've got the lookout tower, the bridge, and the catapult, and there'll be more ways to interact with the terrain. Some of it will even be in the water or around here. You'll see that the water level drops as it doesn't rain. I've increased the rate so that you can just see it at least, and when it rains it then fills up again. And this will also be part of the mechanics of the game, that you actually do some things on this land while it is temporarily dry, which will improve your situation when it fills up again later on. I'll get back there when it rains. So you can see them building a huge catapult. And this is one of the things, for example, that may not be just your task. It can be something that all the meeps or the realms on the map would have to work together, provide lots of wood and builders to get this thing built, because at the moment I've just added at 200 wood just to be able to build it quite quickly. But that can be one of the big projects that you have to work together on. So you can see what happens with the rain and the drier areas. Okay, I'm just gonna switch on the other catapult so that they are both firing when this one is done. Then I can stop and start them both with the same shortcut key. So on this side we'll also have capacity buildings or dwellings where you can
Pursuit of knowledge
build
is unending. However, this particular
bigger
pursuit is now finished.
neighborhoods that can house a lot of meeps. So at the start, basically your meeps stay in the buildings that they work, but as you get tier buildings, you'll have more people working at certain higher tier.
Too late on that one.
Okay, so we've got 2 catapults. This one can then go to fire on that side and let you turn right, and this one can fire on that side and let you turn left. They will then be adjustable slightly to make sure that you aim for the mouth or just a bit to that side. I'm going to switch off the catapults now. Their sound is quite large. They still need to be completely built into the whole system of sound and attenuation and so on, but just to show you that it is working, and it's basically the last thing that we've included at the moment. There you can see our ball of food. It's come all the way around and it's landing somewhere on our terrain, and the physics is letting it roll around there for now. Yeah, so I was telling you about the dwellings that we'll have here, and then there'll be again room for future buildings. So we've built basically the same few buildings throughout our realm at the moment because that's what we have available, but there's a lot more buildings to come. There's 2 entire rings on these 2 that will be populated, and then on each of them we've got some more space for future buildings, which will of course make it a lot more varied, and many of them will fit into the systems that's already in place. So some of them will be quite fast to implement, while others will need new mechanics, like the catapult will not work the same way as the woodcutters, but a lot of the systems will be reusable. I'll add more variety as required by the mechanics of each of the buildings. But yes, there's a lot more planned
Time for an upgrade.
for future development, and hopefully I can get there as soon as possible. I am planning to spend a lot more time on developing the game. I mean, I started this as a hobby in February of 2019, and then couldn't believe how quickly I got to a point where I could implement multiple threads and just all the resources available out there, the add-ons and the packages and the tutorials that show you how to do stuff, especially if you can get proper tutorials that also help you to code properly in a language that you haven't used before. It does help that I have a lot of coding experience in other languages, but it was still something new to me at that time, and with the progress I've been making, I would like to spend some extra time on this, take a bit of time off work until the end of the year and see how far I can push this and develop it into something with a lot more variety and a lot more to do, a lot more different things to do, different buildings, different actions for different buildings, not all just having these 4 kinds of tasks that you just repeat for all of them. So that's my story. I'm trying, I have so many ideas, I have so many things I would like to work on, and I'm trying to get to as many of them as I can, and I just love doing this, and I'd like to spend a lot more time on this. I'd love to hear about ideas people may be having. I've had a few good ideas as I've been developing from people who are enthusiastic about it, and have given me some things to consider and implement and work into certain dynamics. I also want to say something about the day-night cycle. So there will be there will be a night cycle where things go dark and your meeps return to their homes, and I want to use that as almost like a end of turn if you don't think about real time, but where you can do certain things in the game that are maybe difficult to implement real time, either graphically or just mechanically, mechanics and just how it fits into the rest of the game. So you can have decisions at night time that maybe influence the following day or the rest of your gameplay, and it can be some kind of a in-turn checkpoint where you need to decide things, set certain things up for the next session of play, and so on. So I am planning this. I am working piecewise on some of it to get it in place. So yes, that is in the making, and I'd love to hear any feedback someone has, any ideas. I mean, I haven't played lots of games in the last 15 years, so I don't know about maybe some cool mechanics that I can try or something that I can make my version of. If any of you have some, I'd love to hear about it. I've got a Discord set up. I've got a subreddit set up. You can find it here in the extra links, and I'd love to hear from anybody who's got some ideas for me to try and implement. There's also a YouTube channel where I have devlog videos, more than 50 already, from starting out and with Cat-like Coding's tutorial, and then how I've built on that, what I've changed, what I've improved to get to where we are at the moment. So all of the links are here. I've also just quickly want to mention these credits: Cat-like Coding. I've got Code Monkey that helped me, tutorials that helped me a lot. Then I've got James Olivier, who does the sound for me in Wise. He's a professional film sound guy, and I think you'll also agree that sound is such an important part of a game and the immersion into the game. And then Gerben, who helps me with the Blender stuff, also did a lot of work with me on the trailer. He's also got a YouTube channel where he builds model trains in HO scale and the stations and the tracks, and his video editing is a lot better than mine. So check out one of his videos if you want good editing, and one of mine if you want to learn how I've got the game to the point where I have since December 2019. So thanks for watching. I hope you like the game. I hope you'll try the demo, and I hope to hear from some of you about some ideas that I can incorporate. The things that you think would be great in the game, and also things that you don't necessarily like as much, that I can try and battle beat or improve or take out as it's fit. Okay, so thanks again for joining, and enjoy the last part of the next fest, and I hope you found some games that you like, some demos that you can try out, and keep safe, and thanks again for just watching the stream. Goodbye.